Well, in a couple of weeks' time, too, I mean, you look at your Truck Series team, the Tennessee connections, and I know you had shared this on social media a few days ago with you running that throwback paint scheme to Sterling Marlin. And what does that mean to you to have a throwback scheme at Darlington, like the old Coors Light car? And also, has Sterling reached out to you, or have you guys had any conversations about it?
Not yet, but man, our team's been in close contact with them, and I was really thankful that that I'm honored to be able to drive that car. So it just reminds me and immediately brings me back. Every time I see that thing and I see that truck, I'm just like, oh my goodness. It reminds me of all my days growing up watching NASCAR, because old number 40 Coors Light Dodge at the time, man, that thing was a rocket. He was winning. It was when he was really, on top and winning a lot of races. That thing was always a rocket ship, getting poles. So I remember that very specifically. That was my weekly routine as a kid, watching that car win a lot of races and have a lot of success. And I always big time pulled for him because, Sterling just always struck me, even as a kid. He just struck me as a good, genuine, humble, grassroots racer, and I love that about him.
Absolutely. Hey, man, you speaking of Sterling Marlin, I remember, man, I'm just vivid, man. I remember you almost winning the Daytona 500, but you go back years from, I don't know what year it was, but I remember Sterling. I don't even know what happened to him. He had his fender pushed in, and they had a red flag towards the end of the race, and he got out of his car, walked around the cars, pulling the fender out, man. The official jumped out of the pace car, ran back there. But man, Sterling was, man, what a man, just a true hardcore, great guy, great racer, earned his way there. And man, it just so much history there with Sterling Marlin and his dad, Cuckoo Marlin. And it's interesting. I think y'all are based somewhere in that Nashville area, and I guess he don't live too far from where y'all's shop is.
Yep. So he's not far from the shop. It's super cool. And man, it's funny when you talk about that story of Daytona, because I remember I watched that live as a kid. I can't remember how old I was, what year it was, but I remember specifically watching that live, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember like my parents would watch it. I'd be like, Mom, Dad, he just jumped out of his car and he's jumped over on the other side, pulls the fender out. So I remember that specifically, which is so funny and so crazy, the memories we can have. I don't remember anything from my childhood, hardly, but I can tell you, I can remember about riding four-wheelers, dirt bikes, and I can remember my NASCAR knowledge.
Hey, race fans, if you enjoyed that clip, check out the full episode on YouTube and all podcast platforms.